வணக்கம் நேயர்களே. இன்றைய வெளிச்சத்தில் எங்களுடன் ஆஸ்திரேலியா நாட்டிலிருந்து வைத்திய கலாநிதி திரு பிராயன் செனிவரத்னா அவர்கள் தொலைத்தொடர்பில் இணைந்திருக்கின்றார்கள்.
Evolving state of Velicham. It is that evolving state that has been destroyed by this barbaric, ruthless regime. And one thing certain, what it shows is that anything built by the Tamils is going to be destroyed by this and other regimes, including that of my cousin, Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumartunga. And therefore, the only solution you can think of, if there were any options, there can't be now. The only solution, and we got to press for it, is Velicham.
அவர் ஒரு சிங்களவராக இருந்த பொழுதிலும் ஈழத்தமிழர்களுடைய பிரச்சினை தொடர்பான பல்வேறு வேலை திட்டங்களிலே தன்னை ஈடுபடுத்தி கொண்டவர். தற்பொழுது நாடு கடந்த தமிழ் அரசாங்கத்தினுடைய மேலவை உறுப்பினராகவும் இருப்பவர். குறிப்பாக இலங்கையிலே இருக்கக்கூடிய ஆளும் குடும்பங்கள் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய பண்டாரநாயக்கா குடும்பம் மற்றும் ஜேஆர் ஜெயவர்தனா போன்றவர்களுடன் மிக நெருக்கமான இரத்த உறவுகள் உள்ளவராக, குறிப்பாக திருமதி பண்டாரநாயக்கா அவர்களுக்கு ஒரு பராமகன் முறையிலே இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒருவராக இவர் இருக்கின்றார். இந்த சூழ்நிலையிலே, இன்றைய சூழ்நிலையிலே ஒரு சிங்களவர்களுடைய அடிமனதிலே இருந்து ஈழத்தமிழர்களுடைய பிரச்சினை தொடர்பான சில விளக்கங்களை பெறுவதற்காக அவர் எங்களுடன் சிட்னியிலிருந்து இணைந்திருக்கின்றார். வணக்கம் செனிவரட்னா அவர்களே.
வணக்கம் வணக்கம்
வணக்கம். டாக்டர் செனிவரட்னா, you are a Sinhalese from the majority community and also cousin of our former president Chandrika Kumaratunga. However, why are you campaigning for Tamils for so long? Almost 6 decades you are campaigning for the Tamils. What is the reason for that?
Before I answer that, can I make a comment as to why I agreed to have an interview at all with you?
Go ahead.
Explain that the reason why I agreed to this interview is that I am worried. I am worried about the Tamil people in the north and the east, even more so now than I was when they were under the tyrannical regime of the Rajapaksas. I think there is actually a greater problem under Sirisena and Vikramasinghe, and this is of enormous concern to me, particularly since expatriate Tamils are breezing into Jaffna, having a great time with their family, and then coming out and saying that there is no problem in Jaffna. That is just not true. Now, to answer, and that's the reason why I agreed to this interview. Now, in answer to your question about me being a Sinhalese, etc., I was asked the same question by Bishop Desmond Tutu, who said, "Isn't it wonderful that a Sinhalese should be campaigning for the Tamils for 6 decades?" I said, I beg to disagree. This is not a Sinhala problem or a Tamil problem. It is a humanitarian problem that should be of concern to every decent human being who calls himself a human being. So I don't think that that what I'm doing is anything exceptional. The problem and my concern is that there aren't many more Sinhalese. In fact, there aren't any Sinhalese who are prepared to stand up and campaign for what is a clear injustice done to the Tamil people.
Actually, Eelam Tamils will be grateful for you for that. Brian, before we go into the Sri Sena's new government, Sri Sena's government, what do you think about this fundamental problem in Sri Lanka?
The fundamental problem is very clear, and it will be clear for a long time, and that is the Sinhala Buddhist chauvinism. That Sri Lanka is a Sinhala Buddhist country. It is led by these yellow robe thugs and picked up by political opportunists such as my uncle S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike and all that followed. That Sri Lanka is a Sinhala Buddhist country. Well, there's no problem if they want to see Sri Lanka as a Sinhala Buddhist country. If that is the score, then there is no alternative to a separate Tamil kingdom. It's as simple as that. There are no complications.
So, the responsible for this mess in Sri Lanka, you think this is because of the Sinhalese chauvinistic politicians?
Yes, you see, and this Mahavamsa mindset, as I call it, is not getting any less. In fact, I think it is getting even more. Now that the war is over, the Tamils are regarded as a defeated ethnic group. And that's very dangerous because if the Tamils are regarded as a defeated group, no concessions and then nothing will be done to address the basic underlying problem of discrimination against the Tamils. I mean, the Tamils have a right to live there and live there with decency, equality, and safety.
So, even though you are the new government with the promise of a lot of changes, you are not happy with the new government's agenda too. But however, what do you think about Rajapaksa, the former president Rajapaksa?
He's a criminal. I mean, he is a criminal. Both of them, one even more so than the other, Mahinda and Gotabaya, which I will deal with later. I mean, they are just criminals and thugs. And they have been for years. I mean, I've known the Rajapaksa family for a very long time. My mother comes from Goa. I mean, they are just simple thugs. Full stop.
So, you already mentioned Rajapaksa and his brother, and you said that they are, I don't want to mention the name you are calling them, but what we can do or the international community do to these people?
Well, you see, the first thing to do is to recognize that Sri Lanka is two nations, two separate nations, the Sinhala nation and the Tamil nation. You can't get to that point, you're not going to solve any problem in Sri Lanka. What the international community has a lot to offer and to do. You see, for a start, the Tamils in Sri Lanka cannot ask for a separate state. That's a violation of the 6th Amendment of the Constitution, and you can be jailed. As one of the priests who came, a Roman Catholic priest who came to see me from Jaffna said, we can provide the facts, you do the shouting. They can't do the shouting because they'll be locked up.
So, now, what are the methodologies or campaigns Tamil people has to do to achieve their self-determination or separate state in Sri Lanka? Because we were doing democratic way during the Thandai Shelva's time, then Talavar Prabhakaran's time, 30 years of military style revolution. But now, what is left with Tamil people?
Well, first and foremost, we've got to find out what the Tamil people want. And that is what I have been shouting for a long time. Let us have a UN-sponsored referendum as we had in East Timor. And ask the Tamil people in the north, are you happy to be under the Sinhala regime or do you want to govern yourself? And then the UN has got to deliver on that referendum as they had to do with East Timor. And if the 1977 election is anything to go by, where it was put to them, the Vatukota resolution was put to them, some 85% of Tamils said that they want a separate state. I think that if you ask them now, 99%, all except Douglas Devananda and his catchers in the north, will say that they want a separate state to be ruled by them. And at last we have found a leader, a real leader, in Justice Vigneswaran. I listened to him yesterday. I was amazed. Where has this man been? Because that's the type of leadership that we want.
So, it looks like you wholeheartedly support Tamil Eelam. Is Tamil Eelam is realistic in your point of view?
Yes. Yes and no. I have always, for the last, God knows, 60 years, said that a reversal of the Colebrook-Cameron reforms instituted by the British in 1833 for British colonial administration has to be reversed. The centralization of power in Colombo has to be reversed. And if you can't see that, then I think you have missed the point. Um, I think that Tamil is not only possible, but the only solution. The only question, and that is where I have changed my stance, is that I have always advocated a standalone Tamil. I don't think that that's going to be possible, but a Tamil in collaboration with or a confederation with India is very much on the card, like the Pondicherry Cheta. But if we talk in terms of confederation or any arrangement with the singular government in the south, you might as well pack it in. It's not going to work.
Brian, do you think the way you are talking, the Sri Lanka government allow you to come to Sri Lanka anytime?
No, I'm sure they will welcome me with open arms and have a white van waiting for me at the airport. No, there's no problem in my getting to Sri Lanka. The problem is to get out of it alive.
So,
There's no problem.
So, when you went last time to Sri Lanka?
I last went about 90. You see, after the 83 violence, I wrote a book called Unanswered Questions, The Responsibility of the Jayawardena Government. And some 100,000 copies of that were distributed all over the world. After that, my uncle, my mother's brother, who is a Marxist, and someone who has actually stood up for the Tamil people all his political life, he said, look, having written a book like that, I don't think it's safe for you to come back to Sri Lanka. So I last went about 1984, maybe.
So very recently you released another 200-page book about the armed forces sexual violence against Tamil women. And can you comment on that one?
Yes. You see, I was just reporting what I knew and information obtained from asylum seekers, Tamil asylum seekers referred to me as a doctor of medicine in Brisbane. I was also citing two important documents on the same subject by Human Rights Watch, We Will Teach You a Lesson, and the other one by Yasmin Suka, Unfinished War. And I thought the world should know what is going on behind the closed and censored doors of Sri Lanka. And I would like that book translated into Tamil so that the Tamil people will know that the outside world knows what is happening to them. And even more so, I like that book translated into Sinhala so that my people, the Sinhalese, will know what is being done to the Tamil people in their name. I think it's, even though I say it myself, it's quite an important book. It's 200 pages. Perhaps the only criticism I have of that book is that it is too involved or it deals in too much depth on the legality of all this or the illegality and what legal steps should be taken.
So you wrote about the military sexual violence against Tamil women in Sri Lanka, and also all the military leader Sarath Fonsoga. Now he's a field marshal. What do you think about that type of move? Because we have war crime, genocide, and crime against humanity. All these big people, those who are involved, now they are in the current government. Are also, not only that, they were promoted to a field marshal level.
Well, he can call himself field marshal or any other marshal, but he is a war criminal. Now, there is a problem in dealing with Fonseca, Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Mahinda Rajapaksa, all of whom, and others such as Shavendra Silva, who is in the US, I think even today, in dealing with them. You see, Sri Lanka has not signed the Rome Statute, and hence the International Criminal Court has no power. So, the ways of dealing with these people is slightly different. Gotabaya Rajapaksa, there is no problem at all. He is a US citizen, and all you've got to do is to file action in the United States. And as soon as this man arrives, which he will do, because he's got 5 mansions from stolen money in the United States, he'll have to come and see his estates, arrest the guy, and charge him with genocide and crimes against humanity. Saras Fonseca, same thing. He is a green card holder, I think even a citizen. As soon as he sets foot there, charge him with crimes against humanity. Where Mahinda Rajapaksa is concerned, the situation is a little difficult in that he has to be charged in Sri Lanka. But I think the pressure can be applied on the Sri Lankan government to charge him, as has been done with some of the African dictators, even after, especially after they lost power.
Brian, you are, as I mentioned earlier, you are 83 years old. You are far away from Sri Lanka. You are in Australia, and you are a very well qualified doctor and a surgeon, heart specialist, and you can have a nice life in Australia. Now, you are very much involved in the Tamil struggle, all the level of Tamil struggle. I have seen you in Geneva, I have seen you in UK, I have seen you in South Africa, all over the place, where even a lot of Tamil leaders, they don't do that, but you are there. But even, and also you are the transnational, you are in the Senate in transnational government of Tamil Eelam. What is the reason for you to join the transnational government of Tamil Eelam as a Senate? As a
I
senator?
didn't join, I was nominated. And it was a question of my accepting the nomination or rejecting it. And I accepted it not once, but twice. I was nominated actually 5 years ago and again this year. And I think that in the transnational government, because it is the transnational government of Tamil Eelam. It is for Tamil Eelam, which is what I support. And I'm not trying to run down other Tamil groups such as the Global Tamil Forum and the British Tamil Forum and all that. That's fine. If they ask me to join any of them, the answer is going to be yes. I will support them. But I think the transnational government of Tamil Eelam has got the capacity to marshal the necessary forces to tell the world what is happening. We've got some very distinguished writers and not so articulate speakers, but the speaking can be done. I mean, there are some young people, Tamils, who are coming up, who are excellent speakers. I mean, I may be 83, I may be dead tomorrow, but the struggle is not going to stop. I can assure you that, about that.
So, what do you think the Tamil people wants through the Human Rights Council? Because there are a lot of issues in between delaying this report of human rights report from UN Human Rights Council. There are a lot of debates about that. What Tamil people are expecting or what they can do through the Human Rights Council?
You know, there is a wonderful description of the Human Rights Council, not by me, but by Jeffrey Robertson QC. He said, which was something we all know, it's a talk shop. It has not achieved anything. What on earth has the Human Rights Council done in Zimbabwe, say? So what the Human Rights Council has done doesn't surprise me. The Human Rights Council has had some outstanding heads, one of the finest being Navanidham Pillai. If Navanidham Pillai lasted or was re-elected for another 4 years, we would not have seen what happened under Prince Zaid. Incidentally, I think that what Prince Zaid did was illegal, uncalled for, and unacceptable. It was not for him to decide what he was going to do with that report. It was mandated. That word mandated is very important. It was mandatory that the report be submitted, which it was, and it was his obligation to table it in March. Now, he says that if he extends it, he will have more evidence. Well, if there is more evidence coming forward, he can have a second tabling of the amendment, not in September, but at the next meeting, which is not September, it is June. Why September? I think the whole thing just stinks. And I think it is a violation of the mandate of the United Nations Human Rights Council of all places. I don't think that Zaid had the right to do what he did.
So, the Human Rights Council also delaying, and according to your point of view, UN Human Rights Council is not much help in this matter, and also back home we have different type of political situation coming. So, in that scenario, what is the best possible way for Tamil people to achieve their goals?
You see, Yasmin Suka answered that question in her wonderful publication, Unfinished War, where he said this document should be sent to the UN Security Council. I mean, that may be another talk shop, but and China might veto the whole thing. But that's for a start. The second thing that the Tamil people can do is a sit-down strike. Non-action, grind the place to a halt. And if the North and the East is ground to a halt with a non-violent protest, the army might well open up the guns on the protesting Tamils. Well, if that happens, we have got cameras that will cover it. I don't think that Sri Lanka or the armed forces will dare to shoot Satyagraha style protest. I think that the Tamil people will have to tell the Sri Lankan government in no uncertain way that they are not prepared to put up with this nonsense any longer. We will not cooperate with the Colombo government. We will simply sit down and grind this place to a halt. And that can be assisted by the Tamils in Colombo. You know, there are still some 3.5 million Tamils in Sri Lanka. If they embark on a Satyagraha, Sri Lanka will have problems on his hands.
But you see, the Sri Lankan army is still the same, and they are very violent. They don't respect the human rights laws or any human rights situation in Sri Lanka. So they already violated human rights. Now, that type of mass protest by Tamil people from north and east, if army go do a rampage or something like that, what will happen to the international community? Because we have seen international community in 2009 during the last phase of the war, that the people were massacred and slaughtered. We have seen a lot of videos, a lot of evidence, but the international community do nothing. But by another situation now, non-violent protest, if Sinhalese army go on the treat Tamil people same as 2009, what will happen? Because this is more disaster, more sad situation for Tamil people.
You see, it is what they did that finally triggered the action, even minimal action by the Human Rights Council. If they have a mass shootout, I think the Sri Lankan government will be in even bigger trouble than they are. Let me point out that when this report is finally tabled in September, Sri Lankan government is not going to come out like a shining heroes. And if they have another massacre, that will really put the seal on the Sri Lankan government. I don't think they'll dare to do it.
So, what do you think the Sinhala South, because right now, very recently, Justice Vigneswaran's speech about land grab in northern province and eastern province, he was giving a lot of factual information that should reach the heart of Sinhalese people. They should know the suffering of the Tamil people. And also, you mentioned that book you have written about the sexual violence against Tamil women by the Sinhalese army. All this information now going back to Sinhalese people. Also, the Channel 4 also produced their documentary in Sinhalese also. Last month they have, actually this month they did in UK. So, what you think the Sinhalese population, really they are getting understand the situation of Tamil people, their rights to self-determination and their sufferings. Do you think the message is getting there?
No, the message is not getting there, nor is any of the atrocities or what has been done in their name getting through. It is because of press censorship and hooligans who will go and stop the information. You see, the Sinhalese people are not all evil people. As you well know from the 83 violence, a lot of Sinhalese people put their lives at risk to hide the Tamils. The Sinhalese people are not, many of them are not evil people, but they are completely ignorant of what is going on. Either they don't see or they don't possibly don't want to see, but I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they don't really know. That is why I would like that book on rape translated into Sinhala to say this is what is being done to Tamil women and girls and boys and men. Do you think that that is a credit to your country? And what are you doing about it? I think that information campaign targeting the Sinhala people, and there in that area I am guilty because although I'm a Sinhalese, I can't speak Sinhalese, I never have been able to, and I can't even understand the language. But that is no excuse. There are Sinhalese like Vijay Das and Dr. Vikram Karunaratne and others who are prepared to take the message. They've got to be encouraged.
Brian,
incidentally, I haven't mentioned, which I should do before I forget and we run out of time, I'm about the only one in the world who has asked and asked repeatedly, including at the Transnational Government of Eelam meetings, for the immediate admission of Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch and International Crisis Group. If Rajapaksa and now Sri Lanka say that there is nothing to hide, the Tamil people are smiling people who are happy, and it's only stirrers such as Branson Ratna who are the problem, well, then there is no problem in admitting Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch and International Crisis Group. Why are they still excluded? Why is the Prevention of Terrorism Act still there? Who are the terrorists other than the government?
Brian, we'll take a small break and we will continue after the break.